Hi everyone, Barbara here today with another project for the ColourArte video creator team. Today I found another dollar store find and I'm going to attempt to alter it into something I hope to be very beautiful and beneficial and quite useful. So let's get started. As you can see, it's just a house-shaped box. The lid comes completely off, and I thought this would be perfect to alter into a very beautiful Christmas gift presentation. The first thing I want to do is add some texture to the sides of the house. So I'm using this mini Kasbah stencil from the Crafter's Workshop. And I'm going to use golden light molding paste. I like to use the light molding paste because it does dry rather quickly as compared to some of the other molding pastes. And I'm spreading it randomly through the stencil, not covering the entire side of the box. Any molding paste that kind of seeps through, you can just scrape off with your spatula. And I'm going to do the next side. You can do two sides at once and then dry it so that you can lay the box down on it. And now I'm doing the same with the other two sides. The molding paste on the side that's down on the table is now dry. And you do want to clean your stencil off right away. I use a baby wipe to do that. Now I'm going to add some texture to the roof. I've got the Dylusions Alphabet Border stencil, that's the small one. And I'm just adding the light molding paste through that. And pretty much covering the whole roof with it. It does have random edges, so I like that. And I'll do the other side the same way. Again, you can always use your heat gun to speed up the drying time, or just set it aside to dry. And be sure and clean that paste off your stencil right away. Now that the molding paste is dry, I'm going to add a coat of the white gesso. This is by Liquitex. And this will not only give a good base to work on, but cover up the pictures and printing that is on the box. So I've got the roof covered, and now I'm going to cover the sides of the house, again with the white gesso. And after the gesso's dry, I'm going to use my Silks acrylic glaze in Stargazer, and I've got the primary elements in Bashful Blue and Azurite. And what I'm doing is I'm picking up the colors, getting my brush filled with the Stargazer silk, and then just dipping it into the pigment powders and spreading the color. And I also had to use water. As you can see, I just spritzed some water on there to help liquefy and blend the paints a little bit easier. And you just keep working it until you like the result. And also, as you may have noticed, the gesso I used didn't really cover up completely, but that doesn't matter because if anything shows through, it's just like another layer of color I put on it. And there it is, all finished on the sides. So I'm going to pretty much do the same thing on the roof. I'm using the same colors I used on the sides of the house, but with the only difference I'm adding the ginger flower primary element pigment powder to the mix to give it that luscious purple color. And again, spritzing with water as necessary to help spread and move those colors around a bit. And again, just keep going until you like the colors. It's a very forgiving product. Which is something I've come to love. I need a lot of forgiveness in my artwork. And I wanted to add some vintageness to the side, so I thought my Solar Gold Radiant Rain Dauber would be the perfect touch. And I was right. I put it on the roof and the sides of the house, and I just love the shimmer and shine and beauty of it. So now I'm going to work on some windows for the house. This is Gina's Designs Laser Cut Cottage windows, the small size. And I'm always coating my chipboard with the white gesso. It gives a really nice base for you to continue to paint on. And I'm going to give those a quick dry with the heat tool. Now that they're dry, I'm going to use some DecoArt Media White Crackle Paste. And I'm just brushing it on, trying not to fill in the holes. And you do want to add the paste in random fashion. It's thicker in some places and thinner in others. This will result in a variation of crack sizes, which is always fun. While I've got my gesso out still, I'm going to coat these Snowflake shape set, Snowflakes from the Gina's Designs shape set, with more of the Liquitex white gesso. Again, just to give it a good base for whatever paints or products I use. And I'll set those aside to dry. And while those are drying, I'm going to put this pretty shell border along the roof line, and I'm going to miter the corners. What I did was I lined it up along the roof line, and with my ruler I went from the center line down and was able to get that angle, which I cut. And once I got one piece cut to size, I could align that up with whatever was on the border and do the same thing and just flip it. And do that. You want 4 pieces for both sides. And again, we need to paint the borders with the white gesso, again for good coverage and good base. A good base for painting. Also allows you to save your expensive color paints because it won't absorb and just soak right into that chipboard very quickly. So now while those are drying, I've cut out 2 Edwardian doors from the Spellbinders die. This is a wafer thin die, so I can only cut out chipboard, cardstock. I can't cut out chipboard. So I cut 2 out so I could glue them together with some glue stick, and that gives me a little bit added strength. And then once I did that, I used my craft knife to help me pop out those little pieces that are forming the window for the door. And now I'm going to give it a coat of paint with my silks, Oyster color acrylic silks, and this gives a wonderful shimmer to the door. It's almost as if I had used shimmer cardstock. But I did want to add just a touch of color, so I'm adding the Vanilla Bean Primary Elements pigment. This adds just a tiny bit of yellow and gives it a more creamy look. Isn't that pretty? I just love it. And then after that dried, I wanted to bring out the embossing that the die put into the door. And so I'm using some pumice stone or antique linen, either one, distressing to give it that nice color and shading. And now I want to add a piece of acetate to the back of the door to make it look like a window. But before I can do that, I need to size the door. Okay, and then now that I've got that done, I am just using some tape runner to run around the outer perimeter of the window to adhere that piece of acetate down. And I decided I wanted to give some dimension to my door, so I'm just adding some foam tape to the back side so that when I adhere it to the box itself, the door will kind of stand out a little bit more, and you'll actually see the glass, the faux glass of the acetate on the door. I just like that look better. And now we need to come back to the windows. The paste is dried and you can see the nice crackle effect that's on there. And I want to add that creamy color, that same creamy color I used on the door. So I'm mixing the Oyster Silks acrylic glaze with the primary elements vanilla bean, just for a hint of color. As you can see, I don't have to use very much paint or the pigment because I did pre-color the chipboard with the gesso. And again, I want to add pumice stone to the windows to bring out the crackles. And I'll set those aside to dry. And then now again that these are dry, I need to add some acetate to these windows. So I'm just using my Tombow mono adhesive glue pen to do that, and then trimming the excess acetate off. Now I wanted to show some life inside the house, so I found these wonderful images from Altered Pages. It's from their Victorian Christmas collage sheet. I resized them to fit behind the window, and I am aligning them together on the same sheet so that I did reverse images, so on one side you can see them looking one way, and the other side you can see them looking the opposite way. And it looks like you can see right through the house. It's a cutest little image. It's a little boy and a little girl with her dog in her Christmas tree. So I used the Tombow mono adhesive on this window, but I decided to use my Aleene's Fast Grab Tacky glue for this one because it really does grab, and it I don't have to worry about it slipping. And if you look at the windows from the front, you can sort of adjust it so that they're both about the same levelness. And then now I wanted to add some more shimmer to my rooftop decorative pieces, so I'm using a clear embossing powder and a Winter Wonderland embossing liquid and embossing powder, and this gives it a really nice little shimmer. It's hard to see on the screen, but trust me, it's really there. And now I'm going to use my ColourArte Vintage Mint Silks acrylic glaze to cover two of the medium-size snowflakes. These are from Gina's designs. And I'm also using it to cover the small snowflakes, but I wanted to give a bit of a different color, so I am adding the Stargazer silks over it to give it a complementary but different color. Not completely different, but just enough to, to be appealing to the eye. And I did want to deepen the color on the larger snowflakes, so I hit them with another coat of the vintage silks, the vintage mint silks. And I set those aside to dry for a bit. And now back to the roof line. I'm going to add the borders to the roof, again using my Fast Grab Tacky glue. Seems to be my go-to glue these days. And you see how perfectly they line up because we did that mitering. It's just going to fit right in there, and there'll be no bulk or any unsightly seams. And make sure I get a good tight fit. And then I'm going to use the larger snowflake to cover the join, and then the smaller one that I added the blue color to will fit right in the center. I just love it. I think it's so pretty. Now I wanted to add a little bit of gold to my my doors and my windows, and so I'm using the Egyptian gold for this, and just dabbing it on and spreading it with my paintbrush. And again, I'm doing the same to the windows as well. I like the vintage look that I got, so I decided to do that also to the roof, decorative roof border, and the snowflakes as well. And now I realize that I had these are new from Tim Holtz, their little metal wreath from his Ideology line. And I used my Fern Silks acrylic to paint the wreath. I just used my finger. And now the little berries on there, I'm just dipping the a toothpick into the Carmen silks and dotting it where the little berries are. And when that dried, again, I'm using my Fast Grab Tacky glue, and I'm going to apply that, adhere it to the front door. It's just perfect size. Don't you love it when you have things that actually work together? It's kind of nice. And I found this crystal stickles sitting on my desk, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is perfect to make it look even more snowy, give it more glisten and glitz. So I just squirted some on the pieces and spread it with my finger, and I did it to both sides. And now I decided I wanted to try and make a bit of an icicle looking edge to the roof, the edge of the roof. So now I'm using some white German glass glitter that I have, sprinkling that over the wet glue and letting it dry. It adds a bit of thickness to it and makes it look very ice-like. And here's the box. It's complete. I think this would make a beautiful gift to a gift presentation for whatever gift you have for someone this season. And I just want to say thanks so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas. Check the description below the video for a complete list of supplies, and if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and I would love if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season.